Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the most unbelievable talent, emotional journeys, and life-changing moments from talent shows around the world. If you love stories that give you chills, inspire your heart, and prove that age means nothing when real talent shows up, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and stay with us until the very end. Because today's story is not just about music. It's about destiny, courage, and a child who shocked an entire nation with nothing but drumsticks and pure passion. Across the world, we have seen singers who silence crowds, dancers who defy gravity, and performers who rewrite the rules of what's possible. Legends like Simon Cowell have built careers recognizing raw talent in seconds. Simon has always said that true talent doesn't need explanation. You either feel it, or you don't. And today, even though this moment happened on Denmark's Got Talent, it is exactly the kind of performance that would make Simon Cowell lean forward, raise his eyebrows, and say those famous words that every performer dreams of hearing. This is the story of a young child, barely old enough to reach the pedals properly, who walked onto the Denmark's Got Talent stage and played the drums like a full-grown professional. The lights dimmed. The audience buzzed with curiosity. And then, this small figure stepped onto the stage. He didn't look nervous. He didn't look overconfident either. He looked focused. Drumsticks in hand. A drum kit towering above him like a giant. Most people in the room smiled politely. Because when a child walks out with drums, expectations are usually simple. Maybe something cute. Maybe something funny. Maybe a few basic beats that make everyone clap and say "ah." But this child didn't come to be cute. He came to make history. As the judges introduced him, the camera zoomed in on his face. Calm. Serious. Almost like he knew something the rest of the room didn't. When asked why he chose the drums, he answered simply, "Because this is what I love." That one sentence changed everything. Because love, when mixed with discipline, creates something unstoppable. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. The first strike hit the snare drum like thunder. Not loud. Not messy. Perfect. The rhythm followed immediately. Tight. Controlled. Confident. Within seconds, the room changed. People stopped whispering. Judges sat up straight. The audience leaned forward. Because what they were hearing didn't sound like a child experimenting with noise. It sounded like a professional musician who had spent years mastering timing, groove, and feel. His hands moved with speed and precision. His feet worked the pedals with coordination most adults struggle to achieve. Every fill was clean. Every transition smooth. Every beat intentional. This was not talent. This was mastery. And the most shocking part. He was smiling. Not because he wanted approval. But because he was doing exactly what he was born to do. The song built in intensity, and so did his performance. Complex rhythms. Sudden tempo changes. Syncopated accents that even trained drummers find difficult. Yet he handled them like they were nothing. The camera cut to the judges. One judge's mouth was open. Another shook their head in disbelief. You could see that moment every judge experiences when their expectations collapse completely. This wasn't just good for his age. This was good. Period. This is the exact moment Simon Cowell often talks about. When you stop comparing someone to their age, their background, or their circumstances, and you simply judge what you're hearing. And what the judges were hearing was world-class drumming. As the performance reached its climax, the child stood up slightly, increasing power without losing control. His sticks blurred. The cymbals crashed. The kick drum punched through the room like a heartbeat. The audience exploded. People stood up before the song even ended. By the final note, the entire theater was on its feet. Standing ovation. Cheers. Shouts. Some people couldn't believe what they had just seen. Others were wiping tears from their eyes. Because moments like this remind us of something we often forget. Greatness does not wait for permission. It arrives when it's ready. When the music stopped, the silence that followed was just as powerful as the noise before it. The child looked up, almost surprised by the reaction. He gave a small smile and bowed his head slightly. The judges struggled to speak. One finally said what everyone was thinking. "I have never seen anything like this." Another judge pointed out the technical brilliance, the control, the musicality, the maturity. And then came the line that changed his life. "You are not a future star. You are a star right now." If Simon Cowell had been sitting there, this is the moment he would have smiled and said, "This is why we do this show. To find people like you." The yes votes came instantly. Every judge voted yes. But more importantly, a country voted yes. Within hours, the performance went viral. Millions of views. Comments flooded in from professional musicians, teachers, and fans around the world. Drummers analyzed his technique frame by frame. Parents showed the video to their children. Young musicians felt inspired. Adults felt humbled. Because this child didn't just play drums. He told a story without words. A story of dedication. Of practice when no one was watching. Of choosing passion over comfort. Behind the scenes, his journey was revealed. Early mornings. Sore hands. Missed playtime. Endless repetitions. Supportive parents who believed without pressure. Teachers who saw potential and nurtured it carefully. This wasn't overnight success. This was earned. And that's what makes it powerful. As the competition continued, pressure grew. Expectations skyrocketed. But he remained the same. Focused. Grounded. In love with music. Each performance added something new. Different styles. Different rhythms. Rock. Jazz. Fusion. Proving that he wasn't just repeating one lucky routine. He was a real musician. The kind that evolves. The kind that lasts. The kind Simon Cowell often says can headline arenas one day. Whether he wins the competition or not almost stops mattering. Because moments like this go beyond trophies. They change lives. They inspire generations. They remind us that talent has no age, no borders, no limits. Somewhere right now, another child is watching this video, picking up drumsticks for the first time, believing that maybe, just maybe, they can do it too. And that is the real victory. If this performance moved you, if it gave you chills, if it made you believe in raw talent again, let us know in the comments. Would Simon Cowell have hit the golden buzzer for this kid? Would you? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs inspiration today. Because the next legend might be practicing right now. And we might be witnessing the beginning of something unforgettable. After that night, nothing was the same. The child who walked onto the Denmark's Got Talent stage with drumsticks in his hands went home, but the world did not forget him. Videos of his performance kept spreading across platforms, crossing language barriers and borders. People who had never watched Denmark's Got Talent before were suddenly searching for one clip. One performance. One kid. One drum set. Music schools shared it. Professional drummers reacted to it. Even seasoned musicians admitted something rare. They said this wasn't just skill. This was musical intelligence. Because anyone can hit drums loudly. But understanding rhythm, space, dynamics, and emotion at such a young age is something different. That's something you're born with and then sharpened through discipline. In interviews, when asked how often he practiced, the answer surprised many. Not extreme. Not forced. Just consistent. Every day. Because he wanted to. Because drums were not homework. They were happiness. That's a lesson Simon Cowell has repeated many times over the years. The best performers are the ones who love what they do even when no one is watching. Fame doesn't create them. Passion does. As the competition moved forward, the pressure became real. Expectations can be dangerous, especially for someone so young. People wanted something even bigger, even faster, even more impressive. But instead of chasing noise, he chose music. His next performance showed maturity beyond his years. Softer moments, controlled energy, letting silence breathe between beats. Showing that he wasn't trying to impress anymore. He was expressing. The audience felt it immediately. You could hear people holding their breath during quieter sections. That's when you know you're watching a true artist. When people stop reacting and start feeling. One judge said something that stuck with everyone. You're not playing the drums. You're speaking through them. That sentence perfectly described what was happening. Every strike had meaning. Every pause had intention. Every rhythm told a story. This is the kind of performer Simon Cowell often says has longevity. Someone who understands that music is not about showing off, but about connection. Behind the scenes, his parents spoke carefully. They didn't talk about winning. They talked about balance, school, childhood, protecting joy, letting talent grow naturally without burning out. That's another reason this story resonated so deeply. It wasn't just about a gifted child. It was about the right environment, the right support, the right mindset. As the semifinals approached, the theater was packed. People came not just to watch, but to witness. Because when something rare appears, people want to say they were there when it happened. He walked out again. Same calm face. Same focus. Same drumsticks. But this time, something had changed. He wasn't the underdog anymore. He was the one to beat. The performance began slower than expected. Minimal beat. Simple rhythm. Almost too simple. Some people looked confused. Then the layers started building. Complex patterns entered quietly. Polyrhythms. Offbeat accents. Control that showed deep understanding of timing. The kind of control most professionals spend decades trying to master. And then the explosion. A powerful section that shook the room without losing clarity. It wasn't louder. It was stronger. The crowd went wild. Judges stood up again. By the end, the applause felt endless. In that moment, it didn't matter what country you were from. Music made everyone equal. Everyone connected. One judge said, "I have judged many seasons, but moments like this are rare." Another added, "If this is what you can do now, the future is almost frightening." That's exactly the type of comment Simon Cowell is famous for making when he sees a once-in-a-generation talent. As the results were announced later, emotions ran high. Regardless of placement, one thing was clear. His life had already changed. Opportunities opened. Invitations came in. Music producers, drummers, educators all wanted to support his journey. But the most important thing, he stayed a kid. Still smiling. Still humble. Still excited to play. That's where many stories fail. Talent rises fast, but joy disappears. This one felt different. Grounded. Real. Fans around the world followed his progress. Practice clips. Short performances. Collaborations with older musicians who treated him with respect, not novelty. He wasn't a gimmick. He was a musician. Looking back, this performance on Denmark's Got Talent will be remembered as the moment the world discovered him. Just like early performances that introduced global stars in the past. And if one day he steps onto an even bigger stage, perhaps in front of judges like Simon Cowell, people will say the same thing. I remember when he first played the drums. I knew then. Because real talent announces itself quietly, but echoes forever. If you made it this far, thank you for watching and listening. Stories like this remind us why talent shows still matter. Not for drama, not for noise, but for moments that restore belief. Like this video if this story inspired you. Subscribe if you believe talent has no age. And comment below. Do you think this young drummer is a future global star? Because some legends don't need time. They arrive ready. And this might just be the beginning.